How you doing, Sam?
Good, brother. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. How's life? I haven't seen you in a
Life,
couple weeks.
yeah, life is good. We can't complain. Health is good. The weather's turning, and real estate's still strong, so we're happy.
Nice, perfect, awesome. Okay, let's get at it. I asked Mississauga for questions this morning, and they delivered a lot of good ones. So they're ready to go. Okay, so has the real estate market cooled down a little in Mississauga?
We knew it was inevitable. We had 3, 4 months which were unbelievably strong and almost, something you knew wasn't sustainable. So over the last 2, 3 weeks, we have seen a bit of a shift in the market, which was to be expected. So, and we can talk about different variables, but I think strategies now need to change in terms of how we deal with it from a real estate perspective as we see a modest shift, which will probably continue to shift to be more of a healthy equilibrium.
Okay, perfect. I don't know if you heard, I was just reading the InSaga website, and did you know that people can actually raise chickens in the backyard now legally in Mississauga? Did you hear about this?
I just learned something right now. I didn't know that.
Do you think that would affect, resale value of a house?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a great question. I mean, I actually, the funny thing is I was at a house a few weeks ago and they were raising some chickens and I was kind of caught off guard, but that's, I think, the only house I've seen that in our city. So.
Oh, really? Okay. So 10 areas in Mississauga are allowed to raise chickens now. That's, anyways, that's what Mississauga City Council talks about in their spare time. So, what neighborhood in Mississauga would you buy in Mississauga right now for investment purposes?
I don't, Mississauga now, I mean, there's really some only infills left. So it's really more, I think, where you're finding a good opportunity or a good buy. So I think most of Mississauga is pretty much at the maturity stage. But, it's if you find a motivated seller, if there's some good pre-construction opportunities where the price per square foot makes sense, I'd look into that. We know South Mississauga historically has been pretty expensive, and that's obviously maintained. All the other areas of Mississauga have caught up. I mean, this past 6 months, we've seen some crazy price increases across the board. So I think it's really more situational, case by case, evaluate each property, each opportunity.
Now with Peel being such a COVID hotspot, has that affected real estate negatively in Peel?
Not at all. No, I would say no, not at all. I think we have to take all the proper precautions, etc. But last year, I would say there's different discussion when we were first going through the pandemic and those uncharted territories. We were just trying to figure out how to navigate. But, right now it's business as usual. We're, making sure that showings are staggered every half hour. They're wearing the mask and gloves, etc. But, we're accustomed to it right now. So it really hasn't affected our industry. We've been blessed that real estate's flourished, while unfortunately a lot of industries have been pretty hard hit.
Yeah, true. Same question as the second one, but let's do Ontario. What area in Ontario would you invest in right now for a house, detached, condo?
As the prices continue to rise in the GTA, there's opportunities where you can buy out on the outskirts, and those will continue to appreciate nicely. Look at Hamilton 3, 4, 5 years ago. That was a place people really didn't want to buy, and now it's flourishing. It's really strong. Multiple offers every which way. Prices have probably doubled in 3 to 4 years. St. Catharines, I just bought a pre-con there. So there's a lot of opportunities. I think GTA right now, it's difficult because the prices are so high, but if you want to go outside within the 1 hour radius, they're going to be buying opportunities where you can see good price appreciation.
Okay, perfect. Here's one that's really inside baseball here, okay? I have an ugly 90s gas fireplace we want to remove. House without a fireplace, is it bad for resale?
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's a really not an attractive fireplace, you might either want to put a coat of paint on it to make it look more attractive. You might want to put an electric fireplace in. But if all the other checks are there, then you're fine. It's not the end of the world without a fireplace today.
Okay. How has COVID changed the real estate industry forever? You there, Sam?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's. Can you hear me?
I could hear you, but you are frozen. I see a circle thing around saying, oh, there we go. Okay, we got you back.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. I think just the way we do business, even internally, is going to change dramatically. Before, all our team meetings had to be in person. We do like meeting in person, et cetera. But now, with Zoom becoming prevalent, we can do a lot of meetings without having to meet face to face. there's more efficiencies that have been created because sometimes you just do business as the way you know it. But when something like this happens, which is pretty major, obviously a pandemic we've never seen, it gives you an opportunity to refocus and rethink how you can have a more efficient business practice. And I think it's allowed us to do that. And that's across the board. I think most industries are reevaluating how they move forward after the pandemic because, we're just used to doing what we've done. And once you realize there's other ways of creating efficiencies, you look at those to have better results as well.
True. Is the city center condo area in Mississauga a good investment with kind of 50 buildings going up there?
It's interesting because the condo world years ago, I used to tell investors to kind of stay away from it. That's a difficult market to make headway. But, I was proven wrong, and the condo market's done really well. You just have to be mindful of supply and demand. If there's too much supply out there, then that's going to put pressure on pricing in the wrong direction. But, if it makes sense, the cost per square foot makes sense, and you're looking at it from an investor perspective, we're still seeing good growth. And the condo market in Mississauga is much different than Toronto. Toronto market got hit pretty hard because a lot of people want to go to the city for the nightlife and the action, and that wasn't available. And, if you had a family of 2 or 3 people living in a condo, you were pretty stifled. So, but ironically, Mississauga condo market still performed reasonably well. I mean, I would say most of the increases have come in by way of freestanding properties, but the condo market's still doing okay in our Mississauga backyard.
Well, let me ask your opinion. I mean, because there's so much going up at the city center at Square One, and I know obviously Mississauga is your hood, right? So I mean, like there's Exchange District, M City, there's the Amicon. There's so much going up there. What do you think of that?
I disregard it. I mean, you just want to look at each investment on its own merit. And I mean, some of the price points per square foot are pretty high, right? So you just want to make sure that it really makes sense and you're not just, following the herd and making decisions that may not be wise 3-4 years down the road. Having said that, there's been some great investment vehicles in Mississauga, condos, and I'll give you one case study myself personally where I purchased a property, the S2 Towers, which is south down in Lakeshore. Bought a pre-construction for $550,000. Encouraged a lot of our clients to buy. We sold about 40 units in the building because we thought it was a good value added. Within 6 to 7 months, my units were sold on the MLS and before they've even broken ground, for $750,000. So wow. $200,000 lift in 6 to 8 months. So if you can find the right opportunities, you can still do really well. But be mindful, some of them are priced. So if you're buying pre-construction, you want to have it priced today's value so you can see future value growth. But if you're pricing it for future value, then I don't think it makes sense to transact.
Sam, what year was that purchase?
Last year.
Last year. Oh, wow. Year. Okay.
It was, I think, about a year ago, and then we saw some sales about 3-4 months ago on the MLS for, pretty big jump from where we purchased them. So all our investors were super excited because they all saw it really cash on cash because we're only putting down 10-15% up until occupancy. So on that investment, your return was really off the charts, right? So
your customers must have been really happy. So
yeah, honestly, they just trust us blindly. So if we sell this a good opportunity, oftentimes they just sign, and we want to make sure they make good decisions too. So.
Awesome. What do you think of agents starting the sale price low just to create a bidding war?
That's been a fantastic strategy up until now. So, and it's also price point driven. So under 2 million, that was probably the sweet spot to utilize that strategy. And I would say the first 3 to 4 months, especially the first quarter, we probably had a 95 to 98% success rate with a lower, trying to create the bidding war frenzy. In the last week, we're seeing a shift for sure, and maybe 50-50. So I think probably in about 30 to 60 days, it'll be probably more to normal pricing strategies where you build a 3 to 5% buffer for negotiating, and you're not looking for the multiple offers. But it was a great strategy that worked well, but I think it's almost run its course.
Okay. What is the most expensive house you've ever sold?
Most expensive. I've been fortunate, we've had some good clients, and some of the Raptors like Kyle Lowry and DeMar are clients, and we're had a really good time together watching the Raptors courtside. But I think maybe 12 million, 14 million in that range here, not like 50 or 60, but still a respectable number.
Nice. Here's a good one. Do you offer real estate courses?
I want to at some point. I think there's a need for that, and it's nice to have people who, whether it's a real estate person who wants to learn the industry better or somebody who wants to understand investing more, understand that game better. So, it's something haven't really done. I've done it one-on-one with select people, but I think at some point part of my Sam McDadi plan might be to do more of that, because if we can create more awareness of how to invest properly to build long-term wealth, as well as to help realtors understand the business and how to grow it to a level of success, I'm happy to do that as well, and something on the radar.
Cool. Well, it sounds like they want you to do it because they asked it. What city in the GTA should I invest in? The $1,000,000 question again.
It's so hard to say. I mean, listen, I think that there's buying opportunities. I think the GTA itself is difficult. Prices have increased so much. But having said that, I always go back to, if you find a motivated seller, the right opportunity, the right platform, I would transact. But you have to start thinking of, maybe from an investment perspective, going slightly outside the GTA, where the growth hasn't been so exponential. So there's opportunities to see appreciation in the years to come.
Cool. And I think this one, somebody's looking for a job. It says, what do you look for in a brand new real estate agent to go into your brokerage? What is the one thing what's the first thing you look at?
Listen, the team synergy, camaraderie. There's so many variables, and I'll tell you my experience with that, which is very interesting, because I started off as a solo real estate practitioner. As our business grew and evolved, I didn't want to lose the the personalized touch and in the quality of service. And if we were going too much, I wasn't able to give that. So we added team members. And at one point, I remember 3 or 4 people came to us, and they were really successful realtors, accomplished realtors, and they wanted to join the team. And I was really flattered, and we brought them on. But I realized they had broken wings, like they were almost beat up, burned out, and they didn't really want to listen. So I then changed my model. I said, I prefer to bring a younger agent on who's really excited to be part of the team and will learn and is enthusiastic. And that's been a great model for us. We've brought some agents in terms of years in the business on, and within 2-3 years, they're flourishing and they're flying and they're doing great. There's no bad habits to unwind. So to me, if somebody's got the right attitude, they like people, they're going to operate with honesty and integrity, which is critical, because you work so hard to build a brand. You want to make sure that they're representing it properly, and they're good team players. They don't need their name in the limelight. That's not as important as being in a good environment where they're going to grow and financially do well. And really, there's no glass ceiling. If you want to work hard with our organization, the sky's the limit. But we want people with good attitudes and good integrity. And I actually prefer people without too many years of experience, so we don't have to unbreak their bad habits.
True. Here's a fun one. What's the biggest difference you see in the real estate world from when you first started to now?
It's been a long time, but back then, I think it's efficiency, because back then we had fax machines. We didn't even have phone. I don't even want to date myself, but yeah, fax machines, and so we didn't have. Now you can DocuSign, you can do things electronically, and so you had to meet clients face to face. You presented offers face to face, so the time commitment in terms of face-to-face was much different than today. Nowadays, I think it's almost too little, because I still like to meet with my clients. I think when there's an offer, I still want to be at the front and center, but everybody wants to just DocuSign an offer. And for me, when I'm dealing with buyers and offers, if I'm front and center, and that's hard today with a pandemic, it's not as easy, but if I can read the sellers, I can understand better the motivation level, and if I can get a better deal for my clients, because I've got a pretty good read after being in the business so many years, that's lost today, right? So, but I think the biggest thing is efficiencies, because of technology, have allowed us to grow our business. The amount of volume we do today would have been impossible in the old days, because we just didn't have that ability to write so many deals, right? We'd have to physically be there back and forth. Yesterday I did 3 deals in the evening at my house, and back then it would have been zigzagging back and forth, and it would have been very tough to accomplish all those 3, and it's kind of painless. And really today I've got a great support team that helps me kind of grow and flourish. That's, I've got to give them a lot of credit for our business success as well.
Awesome. Sam, those are all the questions we had today from the awesome viewers. This will be on every month if you guys are watching, and this will be on insaga.com as an entire video article, and on Instagram and Facebook and everything, so you can catch it here again. Sam, is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about?
Yeah, listen, I think it's important. We can't underestimate, the strength of the market, and the fact that the market has shifted, and to be mindful how to deal with that shift, right? Because if you're a realtor today, or if you're a buyer seller, so here's what I would say, that buyers looking in the first 3-4 months, and I always told our buyers, listen, let's not get caught up too much in this bidding war frenzy, because at some point there'll be some normalcy in the marketplace where you can go and buy without 50 offers and paying dollars that maybe next year you'll be offside. And I think it's getting close to that time where we can say to our buyers, listen, you've got a clear path now. You're not going to have to compete anymore, and next 36 days might be a good time to buy a property, because you don't have to pay $200,000 over ask price anymore. And we're seeing that right now. We've got a client in Oakville that they're looking to transact, and we just beat the clock with their house. We got multiple offers. They're working out well. Now they're looking at houses where 2-3 weeks ago everything was multiple offers. Now we've got a clear path. So we're putting offers in. They're signing back. They're more receptive. So I think sometimes sellers will have their blinders on and not realize the market has shifted, and they're kind of holding out to this, I want to get $300,000 over ask price. But we also have to be good practitioners and advise them, listen, the market has shifted, and if we really want to sell today, this is the best we're going to do. In 30 days, it might even be less, because we saw such a shift in climb and prices. That's not sustainable. At some point, you're going to see markets correct, and it's not going to crash, but it's not going to be the same bidding war frenzy we've experienced for the last 3-4 months, which quite frankly is unhealthy. Like, we don't, like to see people having to pay crazy dollars and they get nervous. Well, next house, maybe I can't get it. And unfortunately, if the buyers understood, just put the brakes on. We've seen this pattern before, but it'll come back to a normal level, which it has now. So it's a great time to buy. And we tell our sellers today, we still encourage you to get your house on the market fairly quick, because I think next 36 days, the equilibrium will even be more balanced, and there'll be more product in the market, and the advantage the seller had will dissipate.
Cool. And the biggest question of all, when do you think the Raptors will start playing in Toronto? You think it'll be next season?
I was talking to Nav a couple of days ago, my good buddy, and we were at the game together and everything. But he was saying that it looks like they're going to be playing again this year. Of course, the world could change dramatically, but he says every other seat. So we'll have seats instead of bringing guests, which Khaled, I still want to bring you for sure, but it may we'll see what happens with how they schedule the games.
Sure, of course.
This season we have to wait a little bit, but hopefully is ready to. I'm excited. Honestly, this is, if there's one year, and I don't want to say this too negatively, but if it's one year that we weren't courtside, this wasn't a bad year, because the 2 years I was there, I mean, they had great success, and we had a lot of fun watching them win the championship, and hopefully next year they'll be able to add some nice pieces and get back at it again. So
awesome, cool. Sam, are you staying healthy and safe and everything?
Yeah, Khaled, we talk about this. Health is wealth, and we're blessed to be able to do the things we do from a vocation perspective, which we love. But if we don't have our health, we have nothing. So, for us, I know you love to work out, and I see you're jogging every day, which is awesome. Keep it up. And, trying every day, we've got a lot of fun doing that as well. So health is great, and everything's good as well, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks. Sam McDadi, the real estate kingpin mogul, Mississauga. Well, I guess GTA. Anyways, we're going to do this every month. Is that cool?
I'm so excited. Love to share information and hang out with you, even though it's virtually, but every month sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, Sam, take care.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye.